What makes these scenes more enjoyable is when the odds are really against them. The bigger guy always has the advantage of being bigger and by default stronger. However, being the smaller fighter has its advantages, but it really all comes down to skill and intelligence.
Whoa! Damn!
So today we'll be talking about the top 10 epic normal man versus giant man fights. Let's go!
This boy's on steroids. He got a head like Barry Bonds. Oh no, come on, man!
Starting us off at number 10, we have Jackie and Chris versus Tall Chinaman. An epic fight scene from the comedy and action franchise Rush Hour 3.
Now I'm about to beat the puberty out of you.
The scene sees Chris Tucker and Jackie get to fight the tallest man in the world. The scene begins with the two gentlemen walking into a dojo and fighting a training session taking place. We are soon introduced to a tall, giant character. The comic punch packed by Detective Carter does more than unhinge your laughter as we get to see his facial reaction as he takes in the moment of being carried with just one hand. Picture that comes to mind is a coat and a hanger. He's later tossed across the floor like a sack of potatoes.
Come on, man, let me go. I love Chinese people.
His fellow Chinese lawman does little but to share the brunt of the fight. Despite his quick maneuvering tactics, the obvious seemed inevitable and the inspector's tricks would later prove useless. The giant man is emphatic in his fight movements as he enjoys his complete superiority over the two men. At number 9, we have Michael J. White versus Nathan Jones.
Hey man, if you're so tough, why'd it take you 2 punches to knock your wife out?
Picking up after the events of Never Back Down 2, former MMA champion Case Walker, played by Michael J. White, is on the comeback trail to become champion once again. The epic scene sees Case taunting the beast villain Braga, played by Nathan Jones, by mentioning his violence towards his wife. This visibly antagonizes the fighter, who then confronts Walker. The fight scene is fast-paced and well choreographed as the protagonist lands high-flying kicks to the tall figure of Braga. The fight never goes on for too long, which gives us a more realistic view of the fight. Following in at number 8, we have Brad Pitt versus Nathan Jones. The fight scene is set up with a series of events in the battlefield that lead to both sides calling out their champions. And stepping out with massive cheers and chest pumping from his camp, we are met with a muscular 6-foot figure of Boagrius, played by Nathan Jones. Troy, played by Brad Pitt, makes an elegant entrance to the cheer of his peers. He then proceeds to partially disarm himself by leaving his pylon behind. But what follows is an intense physical display of a breathtaking movie.
Imagine a king who fights his own battles. Wouldn't that be a sight?
I mean, talk about the runaround just before landing the blade deep into Boagrius' shoulder. The scene is capped off by Troy chanting, "Is there no one else?"
Give it to your king. He's not my king.
At number 7, we have Jackie Chan versus Nathan Jones. A scene from the 4th installment of the police story franchise that sees Inspector Chan, played by Jackie Chan, dons his super cop mantle once again. The scene begins with Chan leaving his hotel room only to be met by a giant figure blocking his path. We immediately see Chan trying to evade capture by his tall attacker, and being big does have its downside. Thrilling is the best word to describe the balancing act the inspector performs on the edge of a hotel that looks to be about 5 miles high. The film plays strongly to Jackie Chan's humor as we get to enjoy his comic relief in between his encounter with a tall giant of a man.
Who are you?
Me? I'm the Window King.
Window King? No.
Moving on to number 6, we have Jet Li versus Billy Chow. We are introduced to a Chinese martial arts student, Chen Jian, played by Jet Li, who is studying in Kyoto, Japan, when he learns his mentor has passed away. The scene sees Jet Li battle it out mano a mano with Billy Chow, who portrays General Fujita. We get to see Jet Li at his prime with super fast movements, and though Li faced a tall order with Chow standing at a massive 5 feet, Chen Jian's height never once worked against him. The scene is lengthy, and one is left deeply engrossed till the final blow is delivered by the victor. Jet Li does the mythical figure of Chen Jian more than just justice, putting on a ferocious and unforgiving performance. At number 5, we have Tony Jaa versus Nathan Jones. We are introduced to a young fighter, Kham, played by Tony Jaa, who travels to Australia to retrieve stolen elephants that were promised originally to the King of Thailand. He is met with resistance by a gang of bodyguards working for an evil woman, and employs the use of his fierce Muay Thai moves to defeat them. One of many epic battles is with one of the bodyguards known as TK, who is portrayed by Nathan Jones. Kham gets to fight the large opponent in a pulsating, brutal brawl that leaves both men bleeding. Showcasing his athleticism, we get to see Jaa deliver jaw-dropping Muay Thai body shots. The size of his opponent overwhelms him at first, but he manages to pinpoint his weak points. He then uses this to his advantage by slicing off his tendons. This move proves both gruesome and quite effective. Moving on to number 4, we have Bruce Lee vs. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, a classic film from the greatest all-time martial arts legend, Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee plays Billy Chow, who fights against Mantis, portrayed by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the demon-eyed master of the penultimate level. The fight scene is quite compelling, and not because of the moves and strikes, but with the sheer spectacle of the two fighters engaged in combat. With Mantis overlooking Billy from a 7-foot vantage point, Lee has his work cut out in the upper levels of an ancient wooden pagoda. Lee's legendary status still stands without question, and even after his death, we still marvel at his prowess. At 3, we have Kurt Sloan vs. Mongkut. We have a scene from the martial arts film Kickboxer. The fight scene sees Kurt take on a 400-pound killer Mongkut, played by Julius Bjornsson, in order to stay alive as well as get his girlfriend back. Roughly half an hour long, the bout scene leaves us entertained by the David and Goliath battle. With the surroundings depicting an old Muay Thai temple, the two fighters go at each other full throttle, serving the crowd a spectacle. Though in this version of events, no stones were used by David, and Goliath was still defeated in the end. At number 2, we have Jet Li vs. Nathan Jones. Fearless. This is a martial arts film that Jet Li appears as Hua Yuanjia. Li's Wo faces challengers from around the world as a part of an attempt to disprove China's reputation in the 20th century. As he takes down opponent after opponent, a memorable scene is when he gets to face off with O'Brien, played by Nathan Jones. The fight takes place inside a ring, which has Wo facing up against the 7-foot Hercules. With speed and technique in his locker, Li makes minced meat of his opponent by simply using his own size and strength against him. And finally, at number 1, we have Yuri Boyka vs. Giant Prisoner Kosmar. We have the high-octane action series Undisputed. Scott Adkins is Boyka, the most complete fighter in the world. His opponent is a giant man Kosmar, who is played by Martin Ford. Talk about an intimidating entrance. The blood-stained ring complements the scene as the crowd begs for blood. Kicks and punches are exchanged, and our protagonist is soon dropped to the floor by a heavy blow. After a slight dizzy moment, he is soon back on his feet and delivers a thrilling performance of spin kicks and counter strikes that leave his large opponent dazed. The final kick to send him sprawling out the ring is unrealistically absurd. But hey, who am I to question the strength of the undisputed Boyka? We hope you enjoyed the list. We appreciate your feedback, so please like and leave a comment on what fight scenes you liked or think should have made it on the list. Any other top 10s that you'd like to see on the channel? Well, I appreciate ideas, so comment that too. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon to never miss my new uploads. I'll see you next time on the TV Regent. See ya!